I watched my husband get knocked out cold defending me on New Year's Eve, and honestly, I gave my number to one of his attackers right after. I know how that sounds. Heartless, unforgivable, like something only the worst kind of person would do. But let me explain how we got there, because this whole thing is way more complicated than it seems. I'm Brittany, 29, and my husband Jordan is 38. We met at Food Lion, where we both still work, me as a cashier, him in the meat department. When we first got together 2 years ago, everything was perfect, like one of those cheesy romance novels. He'd leave little notes in my lunchbox, surprise me with flowers after shifts, and for a while I genuinely thought I'd hit the jackpot. But the thing about perfection, it never lasts. Before I dive into the chaos, if you love stories filled with real-life drama, shocking twists, and decisions people regret, make sure to subscribe. Trust me, you won't want to miss the messy truths people carry behind closed doors. So, back to my mess. Jordan wasn't always like the guy I married. Somewhere between late shifts and life's routine, he changed. Or maybe he just stopped pretending. The sweet notes turned into snarky comments, the flowers into passive-aggressive texts asking why dinner wasn't ready. But I stayed because that's what you do, right? You work through it. For better or worse, they say. Well, I was deep in the worse. New Year's Eve was supposed to be our fresh start. We went to this crowded downtown bar with some co-workers, the kind of place where the music's too loud and the drinks are overpriced, but you pretend it's fun because everyone else does. Jordan was already tense before we left the house. He hated when I dressed up, especially if he thought I looked too good. That night, I wore a black dress, simple but fitted, and it hugged me in all the right places. The second he saw me, his jaw clenched. "You're really wearing that?" he muttered. I laughed it off, told him to relax, and we left. At the bar, things were fine, at first. We drank, laughed, danced a little. But Jordan had this way of flipping a switch. He noticed some guy glancing at me from across the room. I didn't even realise it until Jordan leaned in and growled, "Is that why you dressed like that? To get attention?" I rolled my eyes annoyed. "It's New Year's Eve, Jordan. Chill." But he didn't. He never did. Fast forward, midnight's approaching, the countdown's loud, and everyone's buzzing with excitement. I'm trying to enjoy the moment, but Jordan's got this storm brewing behind his eyes. That's when it happened. A guy, tall, dark hair, confident smirk, brushed past me accidentally, his drink sloshing a little. "Oh, sorry," he said with a quick smile. "No big deal," but Jordan snapped. "You touching my wife, bro?" he barked, squaring up like we were suddenly in some bad action movie. The guy, clearly not expecting this, held up his hands. "Relax, man. It was an accident." But Jordan shoved him anyway. Hard. The guy stumbled, laughed nervously, then shoved back. That's all it took. Jordan swung first, missed, and got hit square in the jaw. It was fast. One punch. He went down like a sack of bricks, completely out cold. People gasped. Someone shouted to call 911, but there he was. My husband sprawled on the sticky bar floor, unconscious. And me? I just stood there, frozen, shocked. But here's the part that will make you hate me. I wasn't sad. I wasn't scared. I felt relieved. It was like watching the final scene of a movie I'd been trapped in for too long. The guy who hit him, let's call him Alex, looked at me with this mix of guilt and confusion. "You okay?" he asked, genuinely concerned. Not for Jordan, for me. No one had asked me that in a long time. I nodded, then did the unthinkable. I pulled out my phone and gave him my number, right there, while my husband was unconscious on the floor. I know what you're thinking. How could you? I've asked myself that too, But it wasn't about Alex. It was about me, about feeling seen, about reclaiming something I'd lost long before that punch landed. Jordan was fine, by the way. Physically, at least. A mild concussion and a bruised ego. When he woke up, he was more embarrassed than angry, which was new for him. He didn't even ask where I was during the chaos. He never asked, because it was always about him. Meanwhile, Alex texted me the next day. Nothing flirty, just, "Hey, hope you're okay." Simple, but it hit me harder than it should have. We started talking. Nothing serious at first, just conversations that felt easy, safe. He listened. He laughed at my jokes. He made me feel like I mattered. And isn't that what we're all looking for? Weeks passed. I kept living my double life. The dutiful wife at home, the woman rediscovering herself through stolen texts and secret coffee dates. It was thrilling, terrifying, but mostly it was honest in a way my marriage hadn't been for a long time. Then, one night, Jordan found my phone. I'd been careless, left it unlocked. He read everything, every message, every photo. His face turned a shade I'd never seen before. Not red with rage, but pale with betrayal. "So this is who you are?" he whispered, holding up my phone like it was proof of my crimes. I didn't cry, I didn't beg, I just nodded. "Yeah, this is who I am." He left that night. No dramatic speeches, no slamming doors, just gone. And here I am, telling you this story, sitting alone in the apartment we used to share, wondering if I made the right choices. Do I regret what happened? Yes, and no. I regret hurting someone I once loved, but I don't regret choosing myself for once. Because sometimes the real betrayal isn't what you do to others, it's what you allow them to do to you. If you made it this far, subscribe for more stories about the messy, complicated reality of relationships. Because life isn't black and white, it's all the shades of grey in between.